Good evening. Welcome to the Government News Brief for Wednesday, May 17, 2017. In the news, Present Survey Draft Report to be submitted by September, revised National Forest Policy Statement officially launched, and government pledges to develop new ideas to transform the ICT sector. These and other stories when the news returns. Stay tuned. Thank you for staying with us. I am Renetta LaFleur. Here are the details. The Present Survey Draft Report, facilitated by Citizen Security Strengthening Program CSSP, is expected to be submitted by September. Here is more from Isaiah Prophet.
The survey, which is being carried out by the University of Guyana and Argentine National University, Tres de Febrero, intends to develop a rehabilitation and reintegration model for ex-offenders. The survey is being facilitated by Component 3 of the CSSP, explains Project Manager Clement Henry.
To date, UG has completed the data collection in all of the prison locations. We were briefed that the conduct of the survey was successful. They were able to reach their numerical target in terms of the sampling. On the verge of completing their task, they've collected all the information required, and they're now doing a regular statistical process, which is the data cleaning. Once that is complete, they will now forward the data to UNTREF for the analysis of the data.
The Argentine University is expected to submit a draft report of the findings by September. After this, a review will be done and the final report submitted by November. Professor Ernest Owazi, an expert on inmate rehabilitation and reintegration, Henry says, was hired to provide technical and strategic advice and will conduct a separate analysis focused on the administration of the prisons.
Professor Owazi is also doing a separate diagnostic focused more on the administration of the prison. So we will combine these two findings from the prison expert and the university analysis, and we think that that will give us enough information to develop a module and a strategy for rehabilitation and reintegration of offenders and ex-offenders.
CSSP is a 5-year program that aims to contribute to a reduction in crime and violence in Guyana, especially in targeted communities and among youth, by increasing their human and social capacity. Isaiah Prophet, Government News Brief.
The revision of the National Forest Policy Statement was officially launched today with the first of several stakeholder engagements to discuss ideas and options for improvement. More in this Tiffany Rodius report.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman says the review of the National Forest Policy Statement is timely.
So against the backdrop of changing circumstances globally and nationally, we are happy that this review is taking place, and out of which we will have a policy that all of us, and by all of us I mean government, civil society, and more importantly, or most importantly, the citizens of Guyana can feel happy and comfortable with.
Guyana's National Forest Policy was last updated in 2011. This administration has been pushing for sustainable development and conservation of the forest sector. Professor Rory Fraser will be leading a team from TCG Consultants to carry out the review. The appraisal seeks to develop a plan in support of the policy, guided by programs, activities, and monitoring and evaluation.
What we're going to try to do is to put together a policy that is flexible and responsive, but provide documents in support of it that would help the agencies involved, the organizations involved, and most importantly, civil society, because we talk about an actual.
The revision will be done in 3 phases. The first phase will be consultations, and this will be done across the country. The review process is expected to be completed by the end of August, with a finalized updated draft policy pending approval by the National Assembly. For the Government News Brief, Tiffany Rogers.
As Guyana observes World Telecommunication and Information Society Day, Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes says the government and her ministry will continue to develop new ideas to transform the ICT sector. Gabriela Patram reports.
Today is being celebrated under the theme Big Data, Big Impact. Minister Hughes says that the theme is in keeping with the International Telecommunications Union ITU's push for technological development in all member countries, including Guyana. She notes that from the perspective of her ministry, that development translates into a fully green economy. This will include a smart city and towns interconnected public services such as medical facilities, fire, water and electricity services, e-learning, telemedicine and e-transactions. Minister Hughes says the significant impact of the technological age for Guyana is the speed at which the ministry is moving to take computers, the internet and the world of possibilities to all communities, including indigenous ones. She adds that this is to ensure that citizens in particular can communicate at any time with anyone, any authority, any institution, and that they have better than adequate learning and health facilities. Minister Hughes highlights that the government is fully aware of the transformational impact of ICT on national development, hence the establishment of the Ministry of Public Telecommunications in 2016. Some of the success of the ministry thus far includes passage of the Telecommunications Liberalization Bill that would remove exclusivity from one company, drafting of the regulations to open up the sector to investors, providing schools, community centers, government ministries and public service departments with fast internet, designing and facilitating the creation of applications to ultimately eliminate long lines and long hours at the GRA, the Immigration Department, NIS, post offices, and even hospitals. To date, there are 55 ICT community hubs in operation mainly in the coastal regions. The government of Guyana is committed to ensuring that ICT provides modern, cutting-edge support to all productive and social sectors, as well as the enabling environment for a strong, sustainable private sector. For the Government News Brief, Gabrielle Patram.
Linden wants 60% of the bridge toll money from NISL to help with Region 10's infrastructural development and repayment of an inherited debt. More from Paul McAdam.
Mayor of Linden, Karen Holland, told media operatives recently that the township is heavily dependent on the bridge's income. He notes, however, that it is not enough to maintain the wear and tear caused on a regular basis.
Indeed, most of the finances would go back to or is under the control of NISL. And that's something that needs to be discussed and needs to be looked at. Because I believe for years with Linden, we've been paying its dues for that bridge. It's about time that that bill be covered or cleared so that it can be back in the hands of the people of Linden so that we can earn more and benefit more. The very trucks that and heavy-duty vehicles that cross the bridge, especially, those vehicles are the same vehicles that will be damaging the roads, and etc. And we need revenue to keep upkeep our road.
Mayor Holland explains that they have been in conversation with the National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited, NISL, on the way forward.
We've so far, in terms of the monthly variations I'm talking about, we've reached a stage where we're engaging NISL. We've been meeting with them now on a monthly basis, and we've pushed so far to have councillors on the committee that is managing, so we are now more inside of what's going on there, but we need to get more on the inside, all right, in terms of the management and the allocation of the resources that's coming from the bridge. We need a larger share.
Holland adds that the township is in debt to the tune of over $200 million, which was inherited, hence a bailout is needed. He feels, however, that having the increase on the bridge monies received will help in a great way.
Right now we need over $200 million. We need a bailout. A bailout. We inherited when we came into office, a very young group, enthusiastic group of councillors. Steering us down was over $200+ million in red, you know, and we're faced with that until today. However, we've started to make little payments towards that. We are indebted to NIS, GRA, and you know, several persons, and it is a monkey on our backs, which we need to get off, and we'll repeat this call for a bailout.
Mayor Holland calculates that the 60% being requested would be a fair amount to boost the township's finances. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
The Ministry of Communities regional consultations continue. Data collected in Region 8 reveals the urgent need for portable water in the region. Details in this report. The regional consultations are a collaborative effort with the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and are held with regional democratic councils across Guyana. While presenting the findings of the survey, consultant Florence Young says the lack of potable water access in Region 8 is alarming and needs immediate attention.
The indicator we look at first of all is the use of improved drinking water sources, 65.2%. Now, improved drinking water sources would be the supply of potable water from the taps, bottled water, use of improved sanitation. Now, when we speak of improved sanitation, we mean that households that do not share their sanitary facilities with any other household, 46% of the households in this region have improved sanitation.
Young says many residents in the region also do not treat the water before use. She is urging them to start treating their water.
Water treatment, 22.2%. And this is treatment of water that you know is not potable, is either contaminated or, but you can't vouch for its safety. So you would treat the water, and we found that only 22% of the population know how to treat unsafe water.
The data was gathered using the 2014 Multiple Indicator Cluster Survey, a nationally representative sample survey of households designed to provide statistically reliable estimates on indicators on the situation of children and women at the national, urban, and rural levels, and for the interior and coastal areas. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Communities, Emil Magarel, says sharing the information with the regions is pivotal and allows for better decision-making.
The data seeks to capture information related to child and maternal health issues, tips, and other social type of challenges that you need to have appreciation of what the data is saying about your region.
Other information brought out in the consultation include information on birth registration, early child development index, violence discipline, attitudes towards domestic violence, use of computers and alcohol, among others. The first consultation was held in Region 2 and more are planned for communities across Guyana. Renette LaFleur for the Government News Brief. Further works on the east coast of Demerara Arch will continue this Sunday, May 21, 2017, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. These works will see the installation of lights on the arch. As a result, the East Coast Demerara Highway between UG Access Road and Ogle Access Road will be closed to vehicular traffic. Motorists and pedestrians are asked to take note and exercise caution and pay attention to all directional signs in the area. The Ministry of Public Infrastructure apologized for any inconveniences this closure will cause. We have come to the end of today's edition of the Government News Brief. The details of these and other stories can be found on GINA's website. GINA has an active Facebook page and we encourage you to visit and like us so you can be informed as the news unfolds. Do join us tomorrow for another edition of the Government News Brief. I am Renette LaFleur. Have a great evening.